Hey everyone, Tim Falcon Knight back with more Road to 1K. Today's match is going to be this. Well, before I get to that, actually, I think I might end up. I'm not sure if I'm probably gonna end up uploading this a little bit early because right now Smacky Cup signups for that are open until March 2nd, which is tomorrow. So, go ahead and 1197 out of 1184. Okay. Well, never mind then. It's full, so I'm not gonna bother. Never mind. Anyways, today's match is going to be this Tier 2 High Funds match versus Mr. Not So Cool. It's going to be Drake versus Max, and it's going to be High Funds. So, yeah, I'm going to go over, because we've got the new tier list. As you can see here, Drake's up in Tier 2 with Max, and in High Funds, I'm going to say Drake's kind of mid, and the reason for that is because of this big, massive air attack loss. That's going to make it very, very difficult for him to do anything with his battlecopters and or his fighters. Well, not really his fighters, honestly, because Drake has that same problem with his fighters, and Drake's fight. I mean, not Drake. Grit. Grit has that same problem with his fighters. No, but like Grit. The main issues here are going to be bombers and battlecopters, and a map like Malachite Trail here. It's a pretty big map. And the thing is, it's got 2 airports, as a lot of High Funds maps do, and it's mixed base as well. That's gonna make the your day-to-day a lot more valuable here, which is why I believe via map analysis, Drake only has a 39%. Honestly, he only has a 50%? That's weird. Hold on. I gotta create games is... So you go just straight up banned. Yeah, you just look at that would be why. It's mixed base High Funds, so Ego is actually broken on mixed base High Funds. It's so easy for him to, like, his day-to-day doesn't matter because he can just you get so much money that on High Funds that when you end up getting into the area where you can just start popping your superpower, you can like get out infinite units. You can cover basically the entire map with them. It's actually ridiculous how busted Eagle is on mixed base like this. So there's a reason there's only 5 matches with him. Where's Max? 63%. And I'll bet Von Bolt's pretty high as well. 52 actually. That's not as much as I would think. But I can see that seeing as it's High Funds. I think Von Bolt's a little bit weaker in High Funds, but only a little bit. Because the thing about High Funds that makes Von Bolt a little bit weaker is like Von Bolt's superpower is kind of it's very, very mid. Whereas if you're playing someone like Max or even Jess, but Max specifically because he's in the tier. Let's see who else is in the tier. Andy is. Grit is as well. You can just fire off their little powers even, and you'll get so much effect out of it. Same thing with Sturm. There's a reason why they're both not higher than tier 2 here. And then there's a reason why tier 1 is these guys, because they're just so freaking busting in High Funds. But anyways, let's go to 52-48 for the country advantage, so or player advantage. So I had the advantage there, but right off the bat, it's not necessarily the best CO for this map, and it's because it's mixed base. You generally do not want to pick a CO like Drake on mixed base because Drake's all about charging up meter for his superpower and then popping his superpower. Maybe his normal power, but that's it. And then his day-to-day is kind of mid, especially on a map with multiple airports like this, where you're gonna need the day-to-day firepower a lot. So that's why Drake's not a very good pick on this map. I'd say Max is very good, and he's also very good in mixed base, I think. Let's see how much he's won, actually. And he's up at 57, yeah. So, Andy or Max is what you'd want to choose in this tier for... if you were going on, like, a sort of normal type of idea for... Well, if you're using the new tier list. I'm not sure if it's... Let's go to Create Game again. Because high tier, I'll bet... Oh, it's everyone except for Sturm, actually. That's interesting. I'll bet it's because... Yeah, I mean, I guess the labs are a bit exposed, so that would be why Sturm's banned, probably. Top. That becomes... Yeah, he's allowed there. Alright, so... Have I said everything I want to say about this map? You have the... This is a 2 comp tower map, so you got the ones on the islands here, which you need to invest either... you either need to invest a transport copter or a black boat. And the thing about that is, your opponent's also going to have an airport sort of nearby. So I think... So we're going to be able to harass whatever you send to these islands with their battlecopters. So you're going to need to build battlecopters first, most likely, in order to be able to take this out. Because, like... It's not exactly one turn away from this top one, but it's definitely one turn away from this bottom one. And it's definitely favored that it will go to the player that's closer to them. Well, to the airport port one on each side. So green for this one, and then white for this one. The other thing that's sort of weird about this map is it sort of looks like it's a naval map at first glance, but it's really not. It's not a naval map at all. And the reason for that is you've got all these shoals in the center here, which cut off anything that you want to send out this way. So maybe you could send out a lander, but like honestly, you wouldn't be doing that much with it. You could maybe put it like here, and then load stuff off here, but I don't think you're getting that much back out of it. And because there's only one port on each of these, you aren't really going to need any like naval combats, like no subs or anything like that. It's mainly just going to be your harbor and your airport versus your opponent's airport. That's how it's going to work. And then you have the base on each side, obviously, as well. And I think that about covers it for the everything I really wanted to talk about here. Obviously, we have these comm towers, which are... Well, actually, these comm towers are pretty contested. Because you have a single base here that's pretty close, and then you have a double base here that's also pretty close. And then you have a double base here that's also pretty close. It's a bit further away, but it's also relatively close. So these are highly contested. Both sets of comm towers on this map are very highly contested. And you can easily see a lot of heavy firepower swings in this map, which makes it makes Drake's firepower a little bit less relevant if he's able to hold on to it, or he's able to take it early. But because of Max's day-to-day power and ability, that gives him that much more of an advantage, because it allows him to just push on into these areas and then seize them. Max likes maps in which there are contestable properties like this, because he can just bully his opponent with his day-to-day firepower bonus and then just knock his opponent off of there and then take it for himself. If we're ever able to counter with their powers, hopefully, is his game plan. And on a map like this, which is very open, there aren't that many choke points. Honestly, yeah. I mean, you have these couple forests which are cutting off this a little bit, but honestly, it's very open. So tanks are almost as good as battlecopters mobility-wise in this map. Honestly. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started with the replay. So, where's my bears? Oh, looks good. Okay. So immediately you're gonna want to go for the airport here, and the reason for that is that's like you're gonna it's high fun, so it's better to get the production buildings captured as soon as you can. And the reason for that is just to give you extra options. It can get you out. You can get out or in like an early battlecopter or something like that. Obviously, you want to go for this property early on as well because it's a flip. But if I'm my opponent, I might actually. Well, it's high fun, so it's 2K for each city, but I might consider skipping this for a turn and then going for this really early on. Of course, you have a nice capture chain down the line here, so that's you can go either or. And delaying this one airport doesn't really matter too much, as you don't have that much income early on. But if I wanted to open up like, let's say I wanted to get crazy and open up battlecopter on this left side, you could definitely do it if your player 2 a little bit easier than if you're player 1, because you don't have to worry about this contested property here. So turn 3 is it? Yeah, turn 3 I open tank recon here. Interesting move, honestly. Oh, tank recon transport even. And the reason I go in transport is because I'm taking the advantage of the fact that he doesn't have this airport grab up yet, so I can just put this up. I can basically just send in the infantry and grab this really easily early on. And then I can even just leave the infantry on there all game, then he has to worry. Then he has to clear it if he wants to try and take it. So at max, it's not going to be like super difficult for him to do that, but he's going to need a battlecopter if he wants to do that. He goes triple tank, 1 recon in response. I didn't know why I had the transport copter, that's why. But as you're going to see here, Max is going to be able to bully me a lot with this. He's basically putting a tank from each side, and he's going to be able to do whatever he wants with them. That should force me to build a couple tanks. Yep. In each of the corners at least, so I'm basically trying to pressure in this over here as best as I can as I'm pivoting with these guys. And he's basically doing the same thing. He's mirroring my moves and heading out this way. Oh, I went infantry over here. That's interesting. But it's going to allow me to pressure in this area a bit easier with the tanks and stuff. So I've already got a Neo tank out. Of course, it's high fun, so my opponent's going to be able to get one of those as well. I mean, yeah, but it's looking kind of weird here, though, because I've got this guy who can push into this, but like he's going to be able to get this infantry basically for free if he wants it, as you'll see here. Well, he should be putting like the recon on the city, I think. Oh, he's going for the infantry here and interrupting there. Okay. So that allows me to do the first strike over here. Of course, since he's playing Max, he's going to be able to get a decent chain off here, and he's trying to like bait it so that he's going to get the first strike with his Neo tank. I'm going to attack with the tank, which allows me to... I'm going to be able to move in with my Neo tank. Oh, I can't even do that. Oh, I can do that stuff this time. Hold on. I'm thinking a little bit too quickly here. Oh, I'm also going... interrupting that cap on Econ Tower there. That's interesting. But yeah, I have this guy here so that if I want, I can push onto there, but well, we'll see. So he's able to do very good against my recon there, and my tank as well. He's able to finish it off, and he's going to be able to start capping there. Plus, he's going to be able to zone out my Neo tank as well, because I don't have a Neo tank to back this guy up. I got a second one up here, but I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do with that. Honestly. And he's putting him over there to deny me that tile if I want to do that as well. That's why recons are pretty good on high funds, especially on a map with lots of shoals and roads like this one, because they can just move in and block tiles that you don't want your opponent to attack with. That's always really nice. As you can see here, pretty contested over here. Over here as well a little bit. I get the first strike over here. I'm leaving this guy back here for now. He's not going to be able to pivot around this tank in order to get a first strike here. So I'm doing the same sort of thing. I'm zoning out his Neo tank with mine. Here. At least a little bit. And then the other thing is, even against Max, I don't believe his tanks one-shot. His Neo tanks, yeah, his Neo tanks don't one-shot tanks on cities. So that's why I've pivoted there, because I'm trying to put as much pressure on the center here as I can. And now I've got a battlecopter over here because he's starting to come over here, push in a little bit. So I've got to build something in response to that. This is the weird thing about mixed space out of stuff. Oh, I even base skipped here because I'm running out of stuff. Oh, you know why? It's because of this carrier. That's funny. I think the idea I had for this carrier was I was going to maneuver it around and then airport lock this guy, and then he's got to divert his resources elsewhere. Yeah, you went for a vet. The reason you went for vet is because I actually can't get my Neo tank to that tile, so it's basically for free real estate. But I was right about not being able to get one shot by the Neo tank. That was true. It's not going to end up being like the best. Got a bomber here to deal with my Neo tank, which is all by itself. It's got no backup, so I'm going to have to back off of it, or even just pivot it to the left here. Finish off that guy. Oh, I actually am able to. So I get a nice first strike off here. Get a shot off there with the battlecopter even. But like, look at how little it does. I know it's into a forest, but like battlecopters, I feel like, especially against Max, they should be doing a little bit more than that, maybe. But anyways, I get the bird strike over here. Start pivoting my carrier around. I'm gonna be able to airport lock in like another turn. But I don't know if the investment of 30k just for that airport is going to end up being worth it, but we'll see. No, I mean, I lost, so obviously it ended up not being worth it. I go for the little pellet here, actually. That's going to end up draining a little bit of his money. Not that much, honestly. So I probably should have ended up just waiting on that and saving up for the big one. Especially since I sort of want to field drain his bomber. So I should have waited for it to be off the airport before doing this, but whatever. It's not the end of the world. Oh, I think I ended up wanting to interrupt caps. That's why I ended up interrupting a bunch of caps at this area, which was really nice. It's not going to end up mattering too much in the end, but so I get a decent shot off here, but like already you can see this isn't going all that well. I just don't have the firepower I need to push through like I sort of want to. This guy is basically airport locking. He isn't quite airport locked yet. Oh, the reason this was also pretty smart from my opponent was he put this battlecopter in a way where I couldn't really airport lock it as I wanted to. So I'm just hovering in the ocean over here to try and zone him out. But yeah. Come on, I go for a fighter here to try and deal with this bomber finally. As well. So, anti-air tanks. The issue here is like he's got I think he's ahead in Neo tanks at this point. So he pops his power, gets a lot of good shit off here. He takes out my manages to pivot around to take out my copter there, and then also take out my Neo tank. And right there, I think that by itself ended up winning in this match. Like, I don't know how much I'm going to be able to do in order to get back. That's a lot of damage from this battlecopter as well. So I've got a lot of useless Neo tanks at this point, and he's able to just decimate my forces here. Just tear them apart. So I pop my super in response. Take out that, take out that. Get a okay shot off there, but like he's got another Neo tank here, so like at this point he's ahead in income. A lot of his units are low on fuel actually, funnily enough. So I am going to manage to airport lock him here. I might take out his bomber, get another Neo tank to reinforce over here. Let's see. I keep on trying to cap that, but I don't think it's going to end up working out. I might get a bomber of my own, because at this point I've got this airport locked, so I can build bombers basically freely here, and I won't have to worry about his fighters. And that can sort of do something against his anti-airs a little bit. But yeah, this guy can't really do anything to push in against these, and that's going to be another issue here, is just reinforcing correctly and being able to finish off a lot of things here. Like he's able to just push in there, and there's not much I can do here. He's got like 2 Neo tanks here even. Like, what am I going to do in response to this? I don't have the money for that, really. Especially now, because since I got this airport locked, he's going to be just start spamming anti-air as well. We're gonna get a little bit of stuff off here, but yeah, I don't know if it's that worth it. Twin cap, shot off, but like I'm not able to push in the air in all these areas like I want to. Is the issue, and that's sort of something that you have to come to terms with on mixed base. Is like you have to recognize that you're not going to be able to push everywhere at once. So you're going to have to invest in the areas that you know you can focus on, and then just try and hold on to areas in the other areas. Instead of trying to push everywhere at once. But like, look at all this answer to deal with these bombers. It's ridiculous. I mean, he's got a fighter of his own in this top corner as well. So I can't airport block this one up here. Not quite taking out that guy. I get another power off, and then there's. Oh, that's actually see. That's why Drake's firepower isn't like that bad for fighters. Just he can do stuff like that. So. I get another bomber over here as well. I feel like I built way too many bombers though. Like I ended up not having enough money for Neo tanks, and like he was spamming anti-air so much that I feel like I needed the Neo tanks a bit more. I ended up needing the Neo tanks a lot more. So he gets a max force off and is able to take out this Neo tank here. He's got the fighter here. He's got 2 fighters here as well, so I'm not going to be able to do much with this bomber over here, actually. And he's just pivoting back with the Neo tank. So he's managing to keep very much ahead on unit count here. Like, he's already 7 before building this turn. So, like, there's not really much to get. Yeah, he's like 10 units, 11 units ahead of me. Of course, I'm having my counter strikes as well, and I'm able to do a little bit of stuff. It's just not going to end up being enough. Yeah, I got the Mega Tank as well. I think this is a good move, but it's not going to end up being that crazy. Like, it's not going to be able to bring back this unit count deficit on its own. And like, I'm trying to make headway here, but no, I'm not able to do that. They just don't have the stuff to do it, really. So as you can see, already down to 23 units. I think I should be resigning soonish. I forget how long. Yeah, I'm moving it up the Mega Tank, but like you can move around that pretty easily. But yeah, this is where I resigned here because I put the bomber onto the carrier for this reason, I think. I remember doing that at some point. Second Mega Tank fighter. But it's not going to end up being that crazy. So, yeah, he gets max force off and he's able to just move in there, get up, free stuff like that. Like, that engagement there is, like, he was able to just one-shot Neo tanks at this point. I think he has only 20% firepower. Oh, he's got 30%. So 30% plus Max's normal firepower boost plus his normal power. I believe that allows him to one-shot these guys. Yeah, it's not guaranteed. It's guaranteed with the super. 4 of the super plus 2 comm towers. So these engagements right here are sort of why Max is very, very good on high runs. With 2 comm towers, is he's able to get up to a threshold where he's able to just one-shot with like into like on roads. He has like, how much is that? 20. It's a lot of firepower. Yeah, 50%. I think that's 50 or 60%. Plus the comm towers is like 80% firepower. So it's at a point where he's able to just one-shot things, which is important. It's not really going to work against the Mecha Tanks, but he doesn't really have to take out the Mecha Tanks, honestly. All he has to do is just whittle down my unit count like he's doing, and then he'll just win eventually through just attrition. He's already 6k ahead, so that's like 6 properties. That's not an insignificant number. And as you can see here, he's just able to keep on knocking off my caps as well. So I bought my super and then I resigned. Because like at this point, Victor isn't untenable. So, like, I have 14 units. He has 39. He's basically got triple my unit count at this point. I honestly should have resigned probably a lot earlier, but whatever. But losing that bomber there was that also did it pretty much for me. I will say I think what I think maybe could have pulled this off with Drake. If I were smarter about what I decided to build and where I decided to build it. I think the carrier ended up being a massive mistake here. It ended up not being able to do a whole bunch. Well, honestly, even anything at all. It ended up being completely worthless here. If I had built like a couple of, even just a couple of battleships from here instead of all these bombers. As a Drake, that's actually something that's not bad. Because what you can do is you can put them in like these shoals even. But they have enough defense. They're not immediately killed by battle covers. I'm playing against Max, so what do I know? But even in like the open seas, they only take like a third to a fourth of their health, and then you can come back with your own, like even cruisers if you want, maybe. Like, Drake cruisers aren't actually, well, they're less bad against battlecopters than they might normally be. But the nice thing about Drake cruisers is, and I'm going into why cruisers are good, but they have 7 move, so we're actually able to zone out Max's battlecopters a little bit. Even if he's able to pop out his powers, they have like they sort of get an edge over him, especially in like the open seas. And here, this area here isn't really where Max wants to start, like spamming his battlecopters or whatever. On a mixed base map like this, you don't really even want to base lock or airport lock like this. And the reason why is all you're doing is you're diverting his resources to somewhere else. So you're basically concentrating his forces in one area. That's basically meaning he's either to get more Neo tanks or more bombers or whatever, wherever you're not walking. And that's something that I didn't realize for a while in high funds is what you can do is if your bases, you can base get very, very, very easily in high funds because you have enough money to spam air units. You can even get naval units sometimes if you want as well. Like you can afford them, and that's something you can do. Yeah. Also, this map is not naval. Even though it looks naval, it's not naval at all. It's a very big map, and locking this airport plus having this airport here, like it makes it so that Drake's powers are a little bit better. Is this fuel drain? Yeah, both of his powers fuel drain. So what that does is it makes it so that his fighters are going to have a little bit more of an issue still flying around and staying around. Bombers too, to an extent. So that's something you can do, but on a mixed base map like this, it's not really that good. Other thing that I should have probably figured out earlier is like mega tanks. Mega tanks are fantastic for dealing with neo tank spam. So like you can tech up into medium tanks, you can tech up further into neo tanks, and then you can tech up even further into mega tanks, and they're basically a very good option to just get them off of you, basically. So we're good in this area if you want. Basically we're good everywhere except where I built them, honestly. But I should have probably built them a little bit earlier as well. Yeah. So that's it for today's match. Let's see. Oh, next week. So standard tier 4 against Pretty Crown River Supreme. Very small map. Yeah, it's gonna be very basic, very standard. This is A rank base light actually, so that'll be interesting. Drake versus Jess base light. I feel like Jess wins that out maybe because it means you have to deal with infantry less, but also because it's a really small map. You're still dealing with infantry very early on, so I wonder who actually wins that out. I think Jake probably ends up winning that out overall. But yeah, that'll be next week's map. Stay tuned for that at the normal Road to 1K time on Friday. And yeah, that's basically everything for today. So
go ahead and subscribe and all of that other nonsense. And yeah, we'll see you guys next time.